الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Surah-Al-Baqarah, ayat 183. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu. O you who believe, those people who believed. Amanu, those who believed. Kutiba. Kataba means to write. Kutiba is the passive form. Kutiba, passive form, which means it is written. What is written? Kutiba alaykum, upon you. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam. Siyam is fasting. Fasting has been prescribed. Fasting has been prescribed, has been written for you, means written as a farz, as an obligation. Kama, as it was, like what was kutiba, like what was written, ala, upon alladhina, those people, min, from qablikum, before you. So those people before you means previous nations. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving us this sense of respite, that it is not just you who needs to fast, the people who have fasted before you. And they had no trouble. They survived, and you will survive as well. It's not end of the game. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, perchance, perhaps, تَتَّقُونَ, you become pious. You would achieve piety. That's the goal. That's the purpose of fasting. The fasting is prescribed as it was prescribed to the people before you, so that you may attain taqwa. Taqwa is from wiqaya. Taqwa means, second, fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Literally means to have a barrier between the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and yourself. To erect a shield. To bar Allah's wrath and anger from you. Wiqaya. Wiqaya is a shield. To use the shield to protect you. Why you do that? Because you fear the trouble. The anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obviously is going to cause one to perish forever. In metaphorical sense and physical sense. So Allah's mercy is the one that we look after, we will look for. So hence the wiqaya, the shield. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, perhaps you may achieve that. Why perhaps? Because if you did it properly, you would definitely do that. If you fulfill your side of thing, you would get it. If you do not do it properly, then what can we do? So even fasting might not help if you do not do it properly. So what is fasting? Sawm literally means to abstain. Abstain. Islamic law, it means to refrain from eating, drinking, and having sexual relationship. And this is from the day break, which is morning, dawn time, until the dusk, until the sun sets. And you have to have the intention of fasting as well, with the intention of fasting. Okay. Even a minute before the sunset, you've consumed something, broke your fast. Accidentally, knowingly, unknowingly, gone. Forgetfully is different. There's a difference between the two. Forgetfully, that you were fasting. You forgot that you were fasting and you ate something or drank something. That doesn't nullify your fast. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has exempted us if we forget. And there's difference between that and accidental. Accidental, I knew I'm fasting, but I thought sunset. I checked the clock. Oh, it says 7 o'clock. It was actually 6 o'clock. Seen it wrongly. No leeway for that. No leave of that. You making a mistake is a different thing. You forgot you were fasting and then you ate, that's a different thing. That's okay. There's a difference between accident and forgetfulness. Likewise, you did not have intention to fast throughout the day, but you couldn't fast because you were, sorry, you couldn't eat anything, you were working. You had your meal last night, had to be at work, night shift, came whole day, didn't eat anything, was so engrossed in your, whatever different tasks you had ahead, you carried on, and you just ate from the next day after Maghrib. So you actually, technically, covered that whole period without eating and drinking, but no reward. Right? There's no intention. You have to have the intention. Okay. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned taqwa. So taqwa, as we know, it means that one has this is the particular quality. And the reason for Allah mentioning taqwa in so many different places in the Quran is because that is the goal of the lifetime. Once you have accepted Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you have to protect that iman. You can only protect that iman through taqwa. Taqwa means to refrain from Allah's disobedience. You have to just obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nafs would want so many different things. Shaitan would distract and get you to do so many appealing things, attractive stuff. But that's the whole idea, to not do that, not listen to shaitan. And then how to maintain that taqwa. You may achieve that taqwa for a short while, but how to carry on? How can I continue to be pious all the time? I'm a human being. We are human beings. We all make mistakes. So how can we carry on? There's only one way. Well, actually two, but mostly one. The two steps for taqwa, or to maintain taqwa, is dhikrullah and suhbat ahlullah. Dhikrullah means to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala abundantly. And suhbat ahlullah means the company of the pious people. Stay with the pious people all the time, as much as possible. Now, what it means to be in the company of pious people, meaning your circles, your groups, your friendship, your friend circle, your WhatsApp, whatever group you are in, no matter what, you are always, unless you are stuck in a situation, you should be with pious people. That is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-mar'u ala dini khalili." Man is upon the faith of his friends. So let everyone see and check. فَلْيَنْظُرْ. Let the one, أحدكم, each one of you, مَنْ يُخَالِلْ, who is befriending with, who do you feel like being with, who is your best buddy, you feel more inclined to. That's your choice. You choose your friends. But you choose sensibly, these friends would take you closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be a little silly. Oh, he's a very funny character. I like him because he always cracks some jokes. And many a time, haram joke, but I enjoy it. So that's why I want to be with him. His company is just bubbly and lovely and whatnot. So I always want to spend my hours with him. There may be some fun there. But is that what we are after? We are in this world for? Clearly not. It would not maintain your piety. So it is difficult, but it is very easy at the same time. Difficult until and unless you've submitted to that nice company. Once you are happy with this company, you would love being in that company. You just get used to that company. This is why certain Sahaba, before they accepted Islam, they hated, they were not Muslim, they hated Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the minute they accepted, they said, one of them actually said, Ya Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Just before I became Muslim, a minute ago, he just said his kalima, proclaimed his shahada. You are the most hateful person to me. All the time, all the time. I can't live without that. And this is the beauty. What he has done, he has submitted his ego. He has literally made sure that his nafs would not go away from this company of pious people. Obviously, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's company has no limitation with regards to his blessings and barakah and the appeal. One gets completely sorted out. This is why another companion said, was so beautiful, the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A man would come to see Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with regards to some financial gain, some material gain. He came with the intention, I need some money. I need something from Baytul Mal. So he would come for dunya. And you sit in the company, within few minutes, he said, I don't want anything of dunya. I want everything related to akhirah. His concern becomes his akhirah. That is the beauty. That is why the highest level ever to be achieved is the status of Sahabi, the status of being the Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nothing can, no wali can ever surpass. Not every wali in the whole world together can surpass the Sahabi who, if you rank them, and there was a lowest level Sahabi, just by being in the company of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, even for a minute. He saw him or he saw him in the state of Iman, and that person died as a Muslim. There's no way anyone can ever compare himself or anyone. But this is the beauty of the company. So how is it that we try to be in some good companies, but we still do not achieve that? Why? Because we do not stop the poisonous bit, which is what? What is the poisonous thing? For one, we do not have long enough good company, but we have bad company at the same time. Keep undoing it. We have a kilogram worth of good company, 5 kilograms worth of bad company. You undo it. And the trouble is that nafs has inclination towards bad company. It likes it. So even one, it's like, you have this much of food, healthy stuff, and you can corrupt it with just this much of poison. A little bit of poison. A little poison is way too dangerous and effective with regards to causing trouble than the good food that you have. The good food would take time to settle in and get you better. You can spoil it all with one trouble. It's like, making something is difficult. To collapse it, easy. You can take a big, any sort of big hammer or whatever, start collapsing it. Building is difficult. Like the wives, they spend whole day, 2 days to cook food. The most beautiful table is set. And the guest, within 5 minutes, you can't see the place. And what happened here? They destroy everything. Gone. So the destruction with the bad company is just horrible. That is why I personally think 1 month worth of good company and 1 day worth of bad company would spoil it. So just go for 1 day worth of bad company, it would just spoil the whole month worth of good deed. Like your positive vibe that you got from the good company. That is why Ramadan is so amazing. And you see, just one night, just before Eid night, the Eid night, people go and spend time outside with music, dance, girls, enjoying, staying up late, missing their Isha prayer, not coming for Fajr, and they come for Eid day, and they're as bad as they were before Ramadan, perhaps even worse. How? What? Because you had a big bucket full of blessings from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the month. You maintain whatever. But you literally took a shovel or axe and literally smashed it. Whole big container is gonna leak from every side. So all the barakah is gone. It may take a day, may take a couple of days. It depends on how much you filled it up, how big the crevices and cracks are. Quite a common thing. So that is why we always, complain. Why is it that once Ramadan is gone, because Shaitan is open. Shaitan is there, we know. How come it was that you followed your whim at that point, straight after moon sighting of Eid, they're on track. This is the problem. We go for Hajj and Umrah. We spend time there or feel so rich spiritually. Nice company. Everyone is so beautiful and nice. And you come home within days, zero. See what happened all of a sudden. Why? Because we fail to maintain that company. We don't see the value of that good company. So taqwa can only be maintained. Obviously, everything happened with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. through the good company. That is why Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu taqullaha, O you who believe, have taqwa, wa kunu ma'as sadiqeen, and stay in the righteous company. Righteous company would ensure your taqwa, and your taqwa would ensure your iman. They are completely related. There's no way other than that. There's no way. You can try as much as you like. No matter who says so, no matter what you think. If everyone together prove this wrong, even then, this is not going to be proved. This is as a fact as you know about the sun going to rise in the morning, as much. And there's no difference of opinion. There's no other way. You can try it, you can practice it, either way, and you'll find it. So that's a problem for me, and a very easy solution, but we don't want that. We don't want to hear. That's why you don't hear this. May Allah give us tawfiq. أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. أياما معدودات, days. أيام plural of يوم, معدودات counted days, few days, not a lot, few days, 30 days, 29 days. فمن كان, so whoever of you was منكم, from you, مريضا is sick, if someone is sick, أو على سفر, or is on the travel, while he's traveling, or on a journey, فعدة, so a count is من أيام أخر, from the other days, meaning that he has to compensate the same days as he was traveling. So he's exempted from fasting during that time, must make up during the other days. So for sick here refers to the person who cannot fast without an unbearable hardship, or has apprehension that this would aggravate his illness. Not that, oh, I don't feel like with a headache, or with a sore throat, or that mood is upset, for whatever reason. No. Good problem with your health. And ideally, you shouldn't judge yourself. Ask someone, qualified doctor, some ulama, ask someone, and give them, yes, if you had a history, happen every time you tried, you fasted consecutively for 3 days, it aggravated your, for example, bowel problem or some lung problem, whatever, then they may give you leeway. But you don't make that decision, inshallah. And Allah does not want hardship for you occurring in the following ayat as well, with a clear indication on this effect. We'll come to that in a second. Okay? Traveler. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the word traveler while you are traveling. Okay? And it has to be Shari'i traveler. Shari'i traveler. Not that anyone who goes out of his house is a traveler. In English language, you may call them a traveler. Traveler is a person who travels for 3 days and 3 nights on a camel. Doesn't have to be on a camel, but that's the journey duration with time and whatnot. So that turned out to be about 48 miles, according to some, 56 miles, so whichever one. That is the minimum journey you have to have. And then there's difference of opinion for how long would you continue to be a traveler if you are on this long journey, whatever that may be. Wherever you're going for 48 miles or 56 miles, how many days? 1 day? No, it has to be less than 14 or less days. Less than 15 days, you can say. Less than 15 days. If you are intending to be in one place for more than 15 days or 15 days, then you cease to be traveler. Even if it's 1,000 miles away, it doesn't matter. Then you become muqim, you become local. The leeway is for those who are traveling for less than 15 days and for more than 48 miles or 56 miles. Same for the prayer. Okay, prayers. Qasr. From your place, from where you live. So when do you start making, so for example, you're planning to leave in the morning. That's another important issue there. Many people say, oh, I'm traveling to Pakistan tomorrow, so I'm not fasting in the morning, in Ramadan. No, you can't do that. You have to, if you have your dawn in wherever you are, even if you travel in the next hour or two, that doesn't matter. You have to fast on that morning. While you're a traveler, when you become traveler, when you have embarked on this journey and you are outside of your city dwellings, this is called the spina of the city, you're outside of that, that could be, so what that spina is, where the dwellings stop, where the houses stop, where there's nothing except for open fields, for the animals to graze or for the factories or whatnot. So that's called fina. So you come out of A406 on the M11. Very soon you would get no housing, no houses there. That's called fina, the city. That could be immediately because you live at the border. You may be in the center of the city. It may take even longer. So that's up to whenever you are outside of the dwellings. That's called fina of the city. That's when you start your qasr or you become traveler, so to say. The intention remains the same, the more than 48 miles, and likewise for less than 15 days. But that's when, so you fasted that morning from home. Now you are on this journey. Now you have already traveled. If you want to, you can break your fast. You will not be sinful. No, no difference for men and women. No. Same. Again? No, so what seems to be, what is your house? What, for example, you're going to your own house, back home, your parents' house, that's not your house. Your in-laws' house is not your house. It doesn't matter where you go, okay? Your house is only your house where you live, where your family lives, where you earn. Yes, you may opt to have two places because you've got two wives, or you work in two different places. That's a possibility. Otherwise, you only, so even if you keep thinking, I would go back, I'm planning to go back, doesn't matter. You are here, you're here. Okay, when you go, then we see. Say again. Both sides are fine, but it depends what you're doing. So in situations, you can take the safest view for both ways. Inshallah. So 48 is more predominant. 48 is predominant. 56 is safer in one way. You are muqim. You have not got any dispensation for shortening the prayer, qasr, or missing the fasting. Okay? But if you happen to be in a place, for example, you went to one city, and then within 15 days, less than 15 days, a week here, 5 days there, less than 15 days, 5-7 days there, 6-8 days here, 2 days there. If you carry on like this for whole life, you still remain traveler. Okay. Now you had the intention of going there for 7 days. After 7 days or 6th or 8th day, you say, I'm going to stay for 3 more days because mom asked, so 3 days and become 10 days. You're planning to come back on 10th day. You say, oh, I need to spend another week because mom is still quite unwell. She extended it. So every time you keep extending like this, it could be whole life again. You still remain traveler. Until you have a plan to stay there for 15 days. You never intended for 15 days. You intended 5 days, 7 days. Now you know that you're going to stay for 3 months, but I keep doing it for just to say that I want to do qasr. Allah knows, and you know, and you will find out there. You can't do sharia. The angels know, what to record for you. So don't mess about. Yeah, truly, you intended for less than 15 days, you are a trouble. Even if it means that you keep extending it for whatever unseen circumstances. And then obviously you would make up for that as a qada. You have to do that when you become better. Now, if someone becomes unwell or they're traveler, they don't have to pay fidya. In Hanafi school, you do not pay fidya. Fidya is the amount that you have to pay. You don't do that unless you have a disease which would never get better humanly, like as much as we could know. Medically, we can say that this disease is long-term. You would never get rid of this disease. You've got chronic condition, you've got this stroke or dementia, you're bedbound, you continue to have trouble. It's highly unlikely that you would ever get better or cured from this. In that situation, that individual is exempted from fasting, except that he has to pay fidya, feeding 2 people for each fast. وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين. or upon those people who have the strength of fasting. They have strength and they can fast, but they decide that I'm not going to fast. I've got enough money. I would rather pay fidya. Fidyatun, so they have a fidya of ta'amu miskin to feed a poor person 2 meals a day. If you did it and you don't want to fast, that is okay. And according to this ayat, it was permissible, but in the early stages of Islam. Initially, it was permissible for the wealthy people or healthy people. If they don't want to fast, okay, don't fast. Just pay fidya. You can compensate that by fidya. But subsequently, it was taken off. So no excuse anymore. So those who have strength to fast are not restricted by sickness or travel, but they do not wish to do so. They had the option to pay fidya in place of their fasting. But it is no more there anymore. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the early stages, people were just being trained. It's a new thing to fast for a whole month, long days, hot days. And the first year was second year after Hijrah. And within 16 days, they had to do the Battle of Badr. This was really a tough ask. So then people had this leeway initially. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at the end of the ayah said, if you fasted, that is better. If you knew, because the benefit is much more. So slowly and slowly getting people used to of this. And then subsequently, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned it, which is the next ayat coming. So, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whoever witnessed the month, let him fast. There's no option of not fasting anymore. Okay, unless you are sick or unwell. Okay, then Ummah is agreed and there's consensus that you have to fast. Now, if someone has got permanent illness, then they can obviously get the fidya done. They would have to pay fidya. فَمَنْ تَطَوَّعَ خَيْرًا فَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. Then whoever volunteers good, then this is good for him. وَأَن تَصُومُوا خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And that you fast is better for you. خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ, if you knew. So Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu, he narrates, and this is from the Musnad of Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, with regards to the prayer in the early stages and fasting. There have been 3 injunctions that came, slowly to help people get used to it. Now there are certain people who say, see, if they were given that choice initially, we should be given the same choice. We are weak people. Sharia is established. When things are under construction, there are different rulings. When things are all settled and set in stone, then you don't change it. So initially, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he came to Medina, he used to fast 3 days a month, usually on 10th of Muharram, and 3 days every month, 3 fasts. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made Ramadan fast an obligation through this ayah. So that was the first thing. So Ramadan fast superseded all the other fasts. Even Sahaba used to fast every so often, but not Ramadan. Ramadan became obligatory in the second year after Hijrah. And then initially the second point was there was an option for people to fast or not fast. If they don't want to fast, they can pay fidya, feed 2 people and they'll be happy. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changed it that whoever witnessed the month, فَلْيَصُمْ, let him fast. But this remain a valid opinion or position for those who have long-term chronic debilitating illness for which there's no hope of cure. So elderly people, bedbound, frail people, they have to pay their fidya. Or their dependents, their family, their heirs would do it. And now there was another thing. It was very, very tough, which alhamdulillah changed. In the beginning, the permission to eat or drink and have relationship with your wife was only after iftar if you did not sleep before Maghrib. So you came home, so you were fasting whole day. You came home just before Asr and you're tired, exhausted, you're fasting hot days, and you said, let me sleep and I will wake up before Maghrib. They tried to wake you up or you couldn't wake up. If you slept through the Maghrib time, then you cannot have anything after that until next day, Maghrib time. So if you were not alert and awake at Maghrib time, you would stay fasting. You can't eat anything after that, at night time even. And you can't go to your wife even after Maghrib. So that was tough, very tough. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala eased it off. And the ayat would come. It is made lawful. وَحِلَّ لَكُمْ لَيْلَةَ الصِّيَامِ الرَّفَثُ إِلَى نِسَائِكُمْ. That will come in the next lesson, inshallah ta'ala. The fidya is half a sa'. Sa' is a measure of wheat, which is equivalent to about 1.632 kilograms in the current time. So that must be the value. Find out how much that would be in rupees or pound, in whatever, and then you have to give it to the poor people. Remember, you cannot offset that against someone's services. A person has done some work for you, and he's a poor man, obviously. He has done some digging for you. So, okay, there you go. This is my fidya given to you. No, that was his earned wage. You have to give it back to him. That's separate fidya, okay? And wherever you live, that's the fidya you give it from. You live here and give your fidya in Syria, war-torn area. I'm going to do that in Gaza. £1 will be for whole year. Can't do that. It has to be where you live, here. What is the fidya amount? Here. Fidya amount is the same amount as that of fitra in Ramadan. Then, the Eid day, same thing. And one fast, you can't just make the fidya into too many different parts. 5 rupees to him and 5 to him. It has to be at least 1% fed for the whole day. So that much must go to an individual. Some scholars have permitted it to make it a little bit easy. So ideally, you should give it as you go along. If you can't pay, you don't have money for that as well. You're weak, frail, can't fast, and don't have money to. Then seek forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah would forgive inshallah. Okay, let's leave it there inshallah. We'll do the rest next week. A good question. Should you not fast while you're traveling because you've got dispensation? It is preferable in Hanafi school to not miss your fasting in Ramadan. Should you, if you could do it, if you can maintain it. Remember, the hardship was the hikmah, the wisdom for allowing people to not fast or cut short their prayers. Hardship is not there because you're traveling in plane, especially when you're going from northern part of the world, America, Europe, to Saudi Arabia, or to Pakistan, to India. You're actually going, and your fast will be even shorter. By the time you're halfway through, you've already done 4 extra hours. If you're going to Pakistan today, and it's Ramadan, so you left at 1 o'clock, you're already 4 o'clock. You've got 2, 3 or more hours. So why would you want to? It's already short, and you are in the plane. Why would you want to not fast on that day? It'd be silly, isn't it? Likewise, if you're there, it's because the blessing and the barakah of fasting in the month of Ramadan, there's no compensation for that. You can never get that, because whenever you fast, it would be outside of Ramadan. So you won't be able to get the full barakah of Ramadan fasting. So the advantage of fasting in Ramadan is way more than the other day, the other options. So if one could try, inshallah. For elderly, frail people, no problem. They can go to Umrah and Hajj, but you're still allowed. Even if you have the strength, you can opt for not having enough barakah. That's your choice. So no blame on you. No sin, no blame. It's not even dislike. It is perfectly fine to not fast if you don't want to fast. But as I said, the recommendation is, if you could, try and fast while you're obviously coming back may be a difficult thing. That takes a lot of effort because it's reversal. You already fasted for 6 hours. By the time you're here, you have not fasted for to 4 more hours, just extended it even further. And in summer, it could be very long. That's your choice. Okay? May Allah give us tawfiq. And yes, when you're in haram, you're there to connect to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why would you not want to fast in haram? You want to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which you could have done without spending any money to perform umrah. This is what I call following your desire and whims over following Sharia. Your fasting has no comparison to your nafli umrah or even nafli hajj. This is obligation, that is optional. But we are more inclined in doing that because it gives me tick box. And I could put my picture on Facebook. This is my hajj number 5 or 6 or 7, my umrah number 20. I'm nearly there to be the wali of the time. I need that hat. Obviously, all diseases. May Allah save us all from that show off and wrong intentions.